All right, all praise to the Most High Yahweh and to His Son, my brother, Amashiach, Yahweh Shai. Peace and blessings to my brothers and sisters from the Israelite tribes. All right, in this video, we're going to get into some DNA information dealing with thoughts on a live stream that I saw parts of. So I was listening to a live stream on Thursday night, Friday morning, and I heard some things that I was like, that is a hell of a disclosure, but it's something that a lot of people tend to say when they don't think they're being exposed or something bad is gonna come from it. But yeah, I was like, that's not good, I'm like, something, an angel must have, forced this information out of you, because like that's not like good information, like to share. That's almost like the exposure that Gorilla Hebrew suffered. Now it's not as bad because like the issue is it wasn't a DNA exposure, but it's very much the same when you come out with information talking about your family lineage on both sides. Even on one side, at best, most likely you're a tear. But when you go both sides, it's dealing with Native American ancestry, and you say the group name, and it's like both sides, and it's like, wow, there's a high possibility of that being, a Japhetic group of people that you're dealing with on both sides. You're full-blooded, R1B Japhetic person. Maybe your mtdna is A or C or even, D. It's still, one of those things to where you're not Israelites on either side, and you need both sides, period. So I was like, wow, that's a hell of a disclosure. And I was like, well, he needs to do a DNA test. Him and his cousin, they just need to do a DNA test to be certain. If not, you can't, say anything about Gorilla Hebrew. We could say things about his group because, like, he said and they said that everybody on that executive level, the captains and so, all of them did DNA tests. Hassad, all of them did DNA tests. And the only person that disclosed DNA information was Gorilla Hebrew. But he just did it on the white DNA. And we understand that's the one with doctrine, but still, it would be very interesting to know the mtDNA, the autosomal. Who cares about that? I think he got into the autosomal, either that or it got into like a regional, a common regional autosomal DNA percentage for his ancestry. But other than that, he just shared the white DNA information. But we, the people, we want to know Hassad, Deacon, Jordan, the other people. We want to know the other people DNA information. I'm pretty sure they probably disclosed it to their camp, and it was like, man, we got so many different results to where we can't share this information. I'm not talking about the autosomal or the admixture. I'm talking about the Y-DNA itself. So this is something that a lot of these big mega Israelite movement and camps platforms, they have to get into it, because a lot of this information is gonna eat away at their platforms. So I just made a video about the Genesis 49ers, and they don't even want to be a Hebrew Israelite platform. Like I thought in the content and everything, yes, it's around DNA, but it's also around certain understanding, and all of a sudden they talked about other people making a switch and a change in doctrine, and now they're doing something because of a update due to science. I'm like, science is always updating. You have to have a basic understanding of who's who in the table of nation, and I'm pretty sure you don't have that understanding, because from what I seeing, a lot of people are grouping all the E groups, all the L groups together, and it's like, well, who's him? Who's all the where, and like how? And I understand what they are trying to do and why, because of the different Wikipedia informations and stuff with movement of people. But you have to be mindful about the curses and us being scattered and so on. I'm pretty sure they know that. They know a lot more. Both these platforms are better with precepts and a lot of stuff than me, but I think I'm better with DNA information versus them in history, and them in scriptures versus them trying to teach DNA information. So yeah, I was like, they just like hitting walls, stumbling blocks that are like giant walls, to where they're just exposing stuff that maybe you have to talk to other people, do a DNA test, see if somebody in the family already taken one. And not just that, but the host, he disclosed like ancestor surname. So I went to go look at the surname in the area that they live in and everything. I was like, well, there's a lot of DNA information on the internet about the surname. Easy find. The issue is, there is like a lot of the obvious groups, the when you say you're this on both sides, that obvious, that R1B group pops up. But then you have a E-M2. So the interesting thing is in the same region, but not in the same state. So I was like, be mindful of that. He just said, a whole surname. And I just Googled it and put YDNA information. And it's like this and that. And I was like, well, it looks like he has like several different possibilities. Somebody in that ancestry pool been testing in that state and in various regions on the East Coast. So, but again, for people that don't know, so I've been doing DNA information for a while. I used to do physical traits until I kept on seeing white people with dominant and recessive traits. I was like, well, the most recessive trait is dealing with cleft chins and skin complexion. But you can also see cleft chins and dark people with recessive traits as well. You know, and once you get into DNA, you start to see how and why. And so I was like, well, they gotta be like at best two different groups of two different groups of white complexion people or pale complexion, because of what I'm seeing. I'm like, all the other groups of people are dealing with dark complexion, but I'm like, that pale complexion thing has to be an influence of something, because you see the cleft chin on dominant features as well as recessive. And I was like, the cleft chin is like the most recessive gene trait that you can have, but I'm like, I need more information. And so I stumbled across, an Israelite, or I thought he was an Israelite. He's a terror. So I just call him Dr. Ephraim. And he was one of the first person on YouTube doing the E1B1A stuff and the DNA stuff. And so I watched so many of the videos, and like I had questions about certain things, and then he disclosed his information, and then like at that point I was like putting together basic information and everything, because his videos are vague but understandable. You could get a good foundation from what you're learning and seeing. So I'm like, well, the mtDNA, we are going by the E1B1E or the E1B1A information. We are looking at the L group, and the L group, there's multiple groupings of L's, and I was like, I don't think the L group that he's a part of is a Israelite marker. And so he did like a disclosure video, and then later on he did another video, and it almost like he went back into the whole doctrine of One West with the white DNA information, and it's like he didn't want to, clarify and to go further into the mtDNA information. I was like, man, with him doing that, he's basically, green lighting that, One West chart all over again, because, you could be E1B1A, but you have whatever group of woman or women you want, because the mtDNA information don't exist, or it don't matter. So pretty much similar with this Negro only. It's very much similar, and the question is it sustainable? At the time being, due to the current events, a lot of things are changing. A lot of people are questioning who they are, where they're going. A lot of people are, wanting to know their information. The only good thing is a lot of people, families, tend to lie often about ancestry. So there's a possibility that he was lied to, but there's a greater possibility that they was telling the truth, and basically he's a Native American ancestry, and he has a R1B in like an A or a B or a C or a D or an X for mtDNA. But he could have an L, but at the same time, it wouldn't matter. Like once you get that R1B, that whole concept of mtDNA doesn't matter. Just like that gorilla Hebrew, problem. R1B is R1B. The L. He say he had an L. He doesn't say which one, but it's fascinating. We could with the mtdna information of Gorilla Hebrew. Like if he said it, if he was to say it, we could perfectly place his ancestry in a region during certain types of crimes and events in various points of history. But other than that, we don't have the mtDNA, and that's the most fascinating thing about mtDNA. It's man, um, a lot of paternal groups was about that life. Passport bros is a trend that's trending right now, but back then it was a thing. Like you could see it, and you could see a lot of arranged marriages. You can see a lot of cases to where guys probably was like, I had enough with these women. I'm moving on to the next group. I know of other groups of women. We gone, we're out, we're gonna hook up with this. And it's wow. So mtDNA is fascinating just as well as Y-DNA. So to the Negro only people, and to the One West Doctrine people, just do a DNA test. Do a DNA test. You could, DM me on TikTok, Operation Gadite. Direct, the put the information in. I will discreetly tell you who you are without saying your name, like Gorilla Hebrew. I only say Gorilla Hebrew because he exposed himself. I only say Genesis 49 because they exposed themselves. But this other group, I just say Negro only platform. And there's a lot of Negro only platforms that talk about DNA improperly, DNA halfway, and so on. Or they don't even get into DNA. They'll say my lineage goes back to this many people. Zabak will often say that in his videos with camp stuff. My dad, my this, my mom go back to Negroes. So it's a very common thing for people to rely on other people in their family to give them information. And they'll lie. My mom lied to me about my dad. And it's I hope she realized that we both have the same certificate information. I have the birth certificate. I'm pretty sure, that name that you gave me is a name of a junior. Not oh, I'm gonna name my child this because of this family member. You name me this name because of a family member. But that name is a high possibility. So not just that, but then she go, my brother dad is my dad. I was laughing because I'm we're not the same complexion type. The features are not the same. My hair is not the same. And it was I took the name from my birth certificate, the name that was given to me before the notary, and I was Google searching, so I found a paper trail. So I was there's a paper trail on this information. I'm and I kept on following. I was this is dealing with my father ancestry in this state, and the owners, they relocated to either Louisiana and then Texas, or to um, back and forth in between Louisiana and Texas, because of the Republic and because of what you call it, other pockets of exemptions dealing with Louisiana and Native American territory. So it's like I found information like paper trail, and I know for a fact my mom's side of the family there's like a lot of paper trail, because of the business, the properties that my mom's side of the family would own, and both sides, both sides of the family have property. Um, it's just that my grandma's side of the family had like a lot of properties. They had her husband, my mom, dad was owner of a cleaner business in Houston for a while. So before the Asian people, before the white people took over that industry, it was like a lot of black people in North Houston dealing with cleaners and other businesses, which was common. And I was like, she's gonna lie to me. I'm like, at this point in time, I'm like in my late 30s, and she's like her early 60s, late 50s, giving me this lie. I was like, you realize you told me what happened to my dad, and I'm like, he died in a car wreck. So and everybody know that. I'm like, that's not like something that you told me, but my aunts, and then you. It wasn't like it's like, so people in your family, they do lie. So that's why I just tell people, do a DNA test and be done with it. Make sure the DNA test have a haplogroup test. Um, Women, make sure you're able to do a paternal group dealing with your father's side of the family, a male relative, and that's about it. L2A or L2 mtdna is the Israelite women DNA marker. E1B1A is the male DNA marker. So everybody can have to have a complete pair, basically. And that's about it with this information. It was like a little rant about people exposing themselves, without knowing that they're exposing themselves. I guess they are thinking they're trying to double down on their doctrine, with their doctrine being better than the other doctrine, and they get caught up with going into details, and the details are like, wow, you may want to check out something real quick. Double check, ask around, somebody probably lied to you. So hopefully they will be peer pressured to get a DNA test. Other than that, a lot of people are just gonna have to find out the hard way. I'd rather know right here, right now, than wow, day one in the Most High Kingdom. You're gonna really wait till then? So with that being said, I want to say, as always, all praise to the Most High Yahweh, and to His Son, my brother, Amashiach, Yahweh Shai. Peace and blessings once again to my brothers and sisters from the Israelite tribes. Thank y'all once again for the views and for the comments. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. according to the community guidelines, and I'll reply to it with a comment or a video. Other than that, peace and thank y'all all.